Why, hello everyone, it is Emily and today I'm coming to you with a British accent. I'm going to be reading a page out of the last song in this accent of mine, and before I get started I just want to say that I know I am not very good at a British accent. I actually do an impeccable impersonation of Honey Boo Boo Child, but I know Lexi did a southern accent yesterday, so I didn't want to do the same exact thing. So I'm doing British, and by the way, I hope I do not offend any actually British people in the making of this video. If I do, I'm really sorry. I'm just not very good at it, and don't take it personally. Okay, so I'm reading page 45 and it is in the perspective of Will. Don't call the police. I told you it was an accident. His expression was pleading. Come on, man. You owe me. News coverage had been extensive the first couple of days, and Will had watched the segments and read the articles in the paper, his stomach in knots. It was one thing to cover for an accidental fire. Maybe he could have done that, but someone had been injured that night, and he felt a sickening surge of guilt whenever he drove by the site. It didn't matter that the church was being rebuilt or that the pastor had long since been released from the hospital. What mattered was that he knew what had happened and he hadn't done anything about it. You owe me. Those were the words that haunted him the most. Not simply because he and Scott had been best friends since kindergarten, but for another, more important reason. And sometimes, in the middle of the night, he would lie awake hating the truth of those words and wishing for a way to make things right. Oddly enough, it was the incident at the volleyball game early in that day that triggered the memories this time. Or rather, it had been the girl he'd collided with. She hadn't been interested in his apologies, and unlike most girls around here, she didn't try to mask her anger. She didn't simmer and she didn't squeal. She was self-possessed in a way that struck him instantly as different. After she'd stormed off, they'd finished out the set, and he had to admit he had missed a couple of shots he normally wouldn't have. Scott had glared at him, and maybe because of the play of light, he looked exactly as he had on the night of the fire when Will had pulled out his cell phone to call the police. And that was all it took to set those memories loose again. He'd been able to hold it together until they won the game, but after it ended he'd need some alone time. So he wandered over to the fairgrounds and stopped at one of those overpriced, impossible-to-win game booths. He was getting ready to shoot an overinflated basketball at the slightly too high rim when he heard a voice behind him. Dun 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 dun! Just kidding, nothing bad actually happens after that line. I just thought I'd make it dramatic. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you next week. Bye.